The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group says Nigeria has made significant strides in human rights compliance in the prosecution of the war against terrorism. The human rights group, which made this known at a press conference on Thursday in Abuja, also noted that the troops have adhered to the international best practices in various operations across the country. Executive Director Gabriel Agibi, while speaking on behalf of the group, signaled out the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, for special praises, adding that he qualifies to be conferred with the highest Human Rights Compliance Award.
The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group wishes to put it on record that the Nigerian Army's operational strategies in the prosecution of the war against terrorism and other facts of criminalities have been outstanding with an excellent rating of human rights compliance. From all our ratings and feedback mechanism, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buku Buratai, leads the pack of military commanders who have displayed an unalloyed commitment to upholding human rights tenets and adherence to global best practices in the rules of engagement in the warfare. This is on the heels that Operation Lafia Dole's organizational composition has in place measures to curb excesses by officers and soldiers in the discharge of their duties.
According to Agibi, the establishment of human rights desks in all Nigerian Army units and formation to address human rights violations is an illustration of the COA's ingenuity. The group said it arrived at this conclusion after an appraisal of the war against terrorism in the country and the compliance to international conventions by the leadership of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group indeed applauds other service chiefs, such as the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Air Vice Marshal Mohammed Saliu Usman, the Director General of the DSS, Yusuf Bichi, and the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, for their invaluable contributions in the entrenchment of human rights in Nigeria.
The coalition's position invalidates that of Amnesty International and the International Criminal Court, ICC, which leveled human rights violations against the military. It, however, warned those peddling false information with regards to the human rights compliance of the military to desist, as it serves only as a means of distraction, not a reflection of the reality on ground.
The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group is sending a strong message to all those that are at the forefront of peddling false information with regard to the human rights compliance of the Nigerian Armed Forces to desist from such ignoble ventures, which by all intent and purposes serves only a means of distraction and not a reflection of the reality on the ground.
The coalition therefore hailed President Muhammadu Buhari, the armed forces leadership and the troops for adhering to global standards in human rights preservation.
The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group also reiterates that President Muhammadu Buhari, in his capacity as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, has been exceptional in ensuring that the Armed Forces operations comply with international conventions.
From Abuja, Lawrence Audu, TVN News.